Welcome back to the Lanterne Rouge YouTube channel and to highlights of Stage 7 of the Volta Catalunya 2021, the last stage. INEOS pretty much had GC wrapped up. They had Adam Yates miles ahead of anyone else that wasn't on his own team. And you can have GC movement on this stage in Barcelona, 135 kilometers long, 5 8-kilometer hilly laps of a circuit around the castle of Montjuic. And this climb's pretty nasty. It's got a 500-meter pinch in it, and there has been GC movement here in the past. Surely, with Geraint Thomas in third, 14 seconds ahead of Valverde in fourth, 10 seconds, bonus seconds available on the line for the stage winner. Surely I thought Movistar would ride all out for Valverde. They hadn't got anything out of this race yet, so getting a stage win and or getting into third position on GC. He's won this stage and GC here in the past. I thought that would be their play, but instead they let a really large break go up the road and didn't really pace it back until the last 30 kilometers. They had Mohoric, multiple Movistar riders that included Marc Soler, and they let it get about 5 minutes plus as they entered this final circuit with 50 k's to go, and that's a pretty big margin to bring back, particularly when you've got half your domestiques in the breakaway. And this is the break, not the peloton. Eventually, breakaway specialist Thomas de Gendt and Mohoric, who's been in just about every breakaway this week on every stage in Catalunya, broke free. Mohoric, the last we'll ever see of him super tucking because it's banned in a couple of days. He dropped Thomas de Gendt on every single descent off that climb, but then he waited up every time. Only Koen-Bouwman for Jumbo-Visma chased really out of the breakaway, the remnants of it behind them. He only got within a minute of de Gendt and Mohoric. The peloton, led by Movistar now in the last couple of laps, they paced with Enric Mas on all of the climbs. They were over 3 minutes behind, and Yates, Carapaz and INEOS didn't look under any pressure at all on the climbs. And so on the final ascent of the Montjuic climb, Thomas de Gendt hit Mohoric with a big attack, and Mohoric went out of sight, out of cameras pretty quickly, and de Gendt was riding away with 3 k's I think to go at this point and a descent into the finish. Even Mohoric super tucking wasn't going to be able to bring Thomas de Gendt back. Now, should Mohoric, when he gapped de Gendt on the last ascent of the climb with one more ascent to do, should he have sat up for de Gendt at the bottom? Probably not. He probably should have paced a little bit harder, made it harder for Thomas de Gendt. He kind of made it easy for de Gendt because he was always going to drop Mohoric or put a bit of a gap onto him in the last climb. I think both of them knew that. But the problem for Mohoric was Koen-Bouwman was 50 seconds to a minute behind, so he kind of needed de Gendt to help him on that circuit to stay away. In the GC group, as they crested the final climb, nothing had really happened. Movistar had tried a little bit. Simon Yates countered, Valverde marking him, Kelderman still looking good. INEOS had their 3 riders on GC, nicely positioned, Yates, Port and Geraint Thomas in a group with Mike Woods. I had Mike Woods for top 2 on this stage when I did my preview, but I didn't expect him to be so close on GC, which meant he couldn't go on a break today or get any leash from the GC contenders. But Thomas de Gendt, what a great Catalunya for Lotto Soudal. Bookending it with 2 wins, first with Andreas Krohn in the first stage with that late breakaway taking the leader's jersey, second with Thomas de Gendt, his 5th Volta Catalunya stage win. A fantastic week for them and disappointment once again for Mohoric, although a lot of exposure for Bahrain victorious, as well as his shape looking really good going into the Ardennes Classics where he can be a big threat. In the GC group, the last kilometre was pretty emblematic of how this week has gone. Geraint Thomas pacing on the front just like he'd done and Richie Porte had done in the last mountain stage on stage 4. No one really able to do anything. It's this fast downhill finish. There's the 10 seconds, the bonus seconds are not available anymore for Valverde, so barring Thomas having a mechanical or a puncture right now, GC was already locked up. And despite this not being a great week for Movistar, it is reassuring for them. The level Valverde showed in the mountains, particularly on stage 3, was super impressive. I think they should have committed to Valverde even more, actually. I know he's 41 years old, but he's still their best rider. Thomas de Gendt laughing at the GC group, thinking, I already finished this stage. I'll enjoy my Fanta. Thanks very much in the sun in Barcelona. Volta took his first World Tour stage podium 3rd. His teammate Reichenbach 4th. Valverde 5th, finishing off this race, which has just been INEOS domination in terms of the general classification. Bora have to be happy with 2 stage wins from Kemna and Peter Sagan, as well as Kelderman looking pretty good on GC, but Adam Yates winning his first World Tour level stage race GC in Europe. He won the UAE Tour last year. 45 seconds ahead of teammate Richie Porte and 49 seconds ahead of Geraint Thomas. INEOS 1, 2, 3 on the podium. That's never happened in a race of this level, World Tour level, in the 21st century. Even back in the day when they had Peak, Froome, Thomas, Porte, World Poles, they never had a 1, 2, 3 on GC. And the big encouragement for INEOS has to be Adam Yates. His first TT on the new setup in the UAE is pretty shit, gotta be honest. He lost over 30 seconds in a 13k ITT to Tadej Pogacar and Almeida, and that really made it difficult for him in the later stages in the mountains. He had to be on the offensive on Jebel Lafitte and he couldn't get rid of Pogacar. But then his second TT, admittedly on a course that did suit him a little bit more here, more rolly, maybe a little bit longer, he did a fantastic effort in the time trial in Catalunya on stage 2, only losing 7 seconds to Almeida. And when we saw that, we knew it was big trouble for Almeida, especially Richie Porte as well, only lost 6 seconds. So then in the next mountain stage, he didn't even need to be that aggressive, but he had the good legs, attacked anyway with Valverde and Kuss, was able to drop Kuss off the wheel and put big time into every other GC contender in this race, taking out the stage win, as well as Geraint Thomas showing some of that 2018 climbing level with a last kilometre surge that must be very encouraging for INEOS to see. And then INEOS made full use of that stacked team. Kamna getting 3.5 minutes up the road whilst being close on GC on stage 4, bit of a fly in the ointment. No matter, Luke Rowe, Castroviejo, Dennis mowed him down, and they kept it all together on that mountaintop finish to Pordenay, only letting Chavez up the road, who wasn't a threat on GC. Then that day when there was a 40-man split up the road, they paced again with Rowe, Castroviejo, Dennis and Carapaz, kept it all together, and what an advantage for them to have the Giro champion Richard Carapaz, who I thought was a big threat in this race, and the TT cost him, to have him policing the other climbers in the mountains and bringing back moves like he did on stage 4, eating into Enric Mas and Esteban Chavez gap, is invaluable. And I think INEOS should take the bones of this team to the Tour de France. Adam Yates, they've got him penciled down for the Vuelta a España. He's the only rider we've seen recently who can make Pogacar sweat on a mountaintop finish. He showed that in Jebel Lafitte in the UAE Tour. Yes, his consistency in 3-week races has been a problem previously, but he's moved to the best team in the world now and arguably the most professional, and I think his abilities complement Thomas, Porte and Carapaz very nicely. But comment down below, let me know what you think. Do you think Adam Yates should be taken to the Tour de France by INEOS? I think it's a no-brainer, but maybe you have a different view. And I hope you enjoyed these Volta a Catalunya highlight videos. I really enjoyed making them and watching the race, particularly enjoyable race. But otherwise, we've got the classics coming up soon. Check out the Lanterne Rouge Cycling Podcast for them, and I'll see you later. Ciao.